Well, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account, and an IRA is another vehicle that the IRS gives people to basically save for retirement. It's a means to put money away on a tax-deferred or tax-free basis and save for when you're no longer working, when you're in retirement, and depend on that income. Self-directed IRA really refers to the manner in which the money is invested. It's not a separate classification of IRA. It would still fall under a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA or a SEP IRA as the basic structure that the IRS gives. Self-direction really, as I say, refers to the manner in which it's invested. So, as the name implies, self-directed. You direct how the money's invested. With most IRAs at traditional providers, you're going to invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, traditional securities that are publicly traded. With a self-directed IRA, what's enabled is to invest into alternative assets. So things like real estate, doing private lending with promissory notes, investing in startups or non-public companies, precious metals. Those are some of the more common investments that we can enable with a self-directed IRA. So really gives people more control over the types of investments that they're getting their money into. Well, I think it's really giving you more control over the ultimate investment, and a lot of people are skeptical of Wall Street and nervous about the stock market, things they don't understand, institutional investors and hedge funds really controlling the market and swinging the little guy around, so to speak. And at the same time, the bond market right now, we're at historically low yields, and as rates rise, which they inevitably will, principal's going to fall. So people are looking for alternatives to invest that potentially are things they understand more or have more control over. Again, like real estate or private lending, things of that nature. Good question. Well, there's a lot of ways you can use a self-directed IRA or an IRA in general to invest in real estate. I guess the first would be through some sort of a REIT or real estate investment trust if you don't want to be actively involved in the management of it. Another way would be private lending or offering a private mortgage, basically loaning your IRA money to a borrower and you hold the note on their home in that example. Third, probably more common way is to have direct ownership or partial ownership of a property by the IRA. And there's two ways to do that. First is direct ownership by the IRA, where the deeded owner is actually the account. So the Entrust Group Inc., for benefit of John Smith IRA, is the deeded property owner. And in that scenario, our real estate department is actively involved in the transaction, and Entrust as a whole, after the transaction, excuse me, is involved in the cash flow. Rent checks would be made payable to your account, sent in for deposit. We would pay bills out of your account. The alternative is for the IRA to invest in an entity that's created, a small business like an LLC, or a land trust is another alternative, where the IRA basically will own that entity or own part of that entity. And in partial, obviously, that's a way to partner with other individuals. And in that situation, the IRA invests into the LLC, for example, and the LLC in turn purchases the property. Benefit there is it's a means to pool money with other investors, or even if it's a single member LLC with just the IRA as the owner, it's a means to have more control. So the account owner affects the transaction, the real estate transaction on the front end, the buy and the sell, but also controls the cash flow and pays bills, collects rent, and so forth. So those are really the two more common options where the IRA actually owns a property. But as I said at the beginning, there are a few other ways that you can participate in a real estate investment using IRA money. No, I mean, as in any type of investment, there's really no such thing as a guarantee, unless I suppose if there's some sort of an insurance wrapper around that investment, which adds layers of fees and isn't something most people want to get into. But no, unfortunately, there really is no guarantee with any investment and self-directed IRA specifically. And I think that's the reason, obviously, we and all providers encourage people to do their homework and make sure they understand the investment they're getting into, the risks that are inherent to that investment, and whether or not it's ultimately the right thing for them. Well, the Entrust Group is one of the oldest self-directed IRA providers in the business. We've been doing this over 30 years, so we've got a lot of experience. We've got a very seasoned staff that knows what they're talking about, quite frankly, has a lot of experience in the industry, both with self-directed IRAs and other areas of financial services and retirement. We're a large firm. We've got about $4 billion in assets under administration and about 20,000 client accounts. So the experience, the assets, we're not going anywhere. We do have some competitors that do what we do, but I would argue that we've got that background in the history, the expertise versus them. We've got the critical mass of size to be in business for the foreseeable future. And I think one thing that also differentiates us is that in working with us, you're assigned a single point of contact. So in my case, anyone on the East Coast would work with myself and my assistant. I would serve as your primary point of contact and help you through any issues or questions that may arise during your experience. Well, I think in terms of differentiation, some of the things I mentioned that set us apart from our competitors, really from other IRA providers in general, certainly the self-directed manner in that we allow people to invest in things that they know and understand, and alternatives from publicly traded stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and so forth. Within the self-directed IRA industry, as I alluded to, there are a few other people that do what we do. But I think the big differentiator is our size, our experience. That we've been doing this over 30 years. We've got so many accounts and such a large amount of assets under management. But also I think the way that accounts are serviced with us is very different experience for clients of Entrust versus clients of our competitors, where you'd have a single point of contact, myself or one of my counterparts, that would always be available to you to answer questions, help you through things, and really be a point person for you in working with us. Whereas a lot of our competition, you end up calling an 800 number. You get someone different every time, might have a different answer every time, and 9 times out of 10 it's someone that's just got out of college and doesn't necessarily know the answers to everything that you're trying to do. So I think that's a key differentiator with us, is that service model that we've got. In terms of contacting us, probably the first resource, if you will, to look at is our website, theentrustgroup.com. So the Entrust, E-N-T-R-U-S-T group.com. You'll find a load of materials on there. Our Learning Center is an excellent resource. Webinars, case studies, white papers, all sorts of information I think that will help people get a better understanding of self-directed IRAs, of our firm, and specifically whatever type of investment that they're interested in, whether it's real estate or something beyond that. So hopefully that will help from an education standpoint. In terms of contacting me personally, I can be found through the site. There's a special page for my office, which is here in the Boston area, Massachusetts. Otherwise, my phone number, 781-569-5074 is my office phone, so people can feel free to contact me directly that way, or find my email address through the website.